Good evening, everyone. I have another game of Fury of Dracula for you. It is a past recording. I played against Fangs of Fire, who was kind enough to respond to my cries and call for help to play a game with me. Previously, I played Hunters, so now we switched and I play Dracula. It's, you can say, our gentleman's agreement to switch roles from game to game. And I wasn't able to comment the game anyway, but I decided to record it just because maybe something interesting will happen or worth it to come back. Quite a number of our games with Fangs are interesting. So, I'm playing Dracula. He uses the Pizza Wizard start that Pizza Wizard stole from me shamelessly, as is a proper thing to do. There's no shame in that, so why he would do shamelessly? Shamefully. He did it shamelessly then, right? And use for the entire tournament. I experimented with the start a little bit, and then I realized that it has weaknesses and big weaknesses, and I decided to drop it, but he kept it, and then he beat me in a league game when we played. So what are we doing here? As a Dracula, I placed new vampire specifically with the idea maybe it will be staked, maybe it will be night searched, or maybe I will lair it. And in all the three possibilities, it can be actually a good result because I don't plan to mature it. Maturing it wouldn't be what I want right here. So he has behind the veil that doesn't discard my fog, which is good. And but he ditches my vampire, which kinda disrupted my plans, but not in big enough way. So why I ended up ditching Seward in Bordeaux start? Basically because Spain becomes a small-scale East. It becomes very similar to the East in the standard Scots art, in a sense that I am free. In a sense, it is as Dracula. How from which angle to begin? So first of all, Seward is alone, and all other hunters are quite far. So for one hunter, it is hard to clear trail by themselves. It's enough to have one bat, one saboteur, and you can already start maturing some stuff. And other hunters can be too far to help. And it is cool. It is like similar when in the east, if it is so far away and there are only two hunters for some time, that some stuff can just sleep and mature. And the second thing is, since this is a single hunter, even if it's Seward, it can be dangerous for him to move alone. He's not Godalming with 11 health and potential lose his revenge. So assassination is on the table, in a sense. So there are a lot of risks, and also I may have enough time to loop around if hunters will not go fast enough, and start building lairs similar as I do in the east, and there is actually a game when I do this. I think it is my first game in this channel. So the thing is, the opens. I think in general, each start is probably the strongest for Dracula. Like, there are obviously advantages and disadvantages, but overall, I think it is the most flexible and the strongest. And by opening the Spain, you create a the second smaller east. It has obviously like less room for Dracula and even harder to exit, but you have also smaller force to respawn because it is not two hunters but one hunter. And before Helsing goes down, from England, before the other two hunters will come with help, you can have 2 days with Dracula, like 2 days with Dracula one-on-one versus the hunter. And it is also not that limiting in Dracula movement, because like when I move in here, I would be able to move 48 next and either to the open Europe, and it's not like he would be able to stop me from doing that much, since it is too early. So I didn't misdirect my starting location, because that was my whole idea when I saw that I have vampire and like what when I saw my encounters in hand, that I plan to go back to my first very starting location. I plan to lair the new vampire and go back to this lair too, and then I have hopes that if he ignores my trail, it is going to mature. If he will not ignore my trail, he will get delayed and I will be safe to move around, right? I have soil that if I will go to sea or have a fight, I will be able to heal or fix my encounter economy a bit. And this is like very interesting day right here. We got the best case of third day newspapers. So we'll see how manageable it will be for hunters and and I don't know, risky or desperate for Dracula being revealed so early. And also, he discarded the Heavenly Host, which actually Fangs of Fire is quite fond of. I saw him few times discarding Heavenly Hosts, and isn't necessarily a bad idea. Even, I mean, you might be surprised because Heavenly Host is like priced quite often as the strongest item, and I think that any Dracula had multiple situations when he died to some sudden attack of 2 Heavenly Hosts, 8 damage, and the game is flipping on its head. The thing is that if you don't have CG and you have some very tricky item choices, sometimes Heavenly Hosts can be less effective than other items. Imagine you get a 2v1 or maybe even 3v1. If Dracula will guess correctly and get some lucky fangs on Heavenly Host, sometimes he can be saved and flip the fight on its head, or save the game from desperate situation. On the other hand, if hunters are fully tooled up on weapons, you are not able to remove any hunter that easily, right? So, and you may say, yeah, weapons can be broken, but if you overload hunters like everyone has 2 weapons, it is and you have still only 2 strengths. It's not like, oh, okay, that was good. It's not like you can break all weapons. So this is really good. He, despite searching with scouts on previous day, he scouted Madrid again because he wants to know, yeah, if I am here, because I moved in here hoping that Seward will rail on me on a way to clear Cadiz. But he expected that. I guess my aggressive Dracula plays when I move move onto location I expect hunters to move instead of dodging them, and I open my arms in a welcoming manner. It got a little bit more recognized. So yeah, obviously this is the correct response. You want to dodge Dracula here. There was no uh, no possible way. There was like, it wasn't really a decision. You don't want if you expect that Dracula. I mean, if Dracula moves so that he expects you, you don't want to go into 1v1 with him. How will you manage trail next, right? You just want to wait for help of your friends. And he got actually a lot of scout events here. So he knows where I am, which is very important, and he knows my trail, so he has good knowledge what to do next, and he can plan out how he wants to approach my trail, and day by day consider, okay, where if and when he needs to risk being delayed, night search against vampires, and all of that. And he knows where I cannot be for sure, so it's also very safe for him. I have quite tricky hand of encounters here. I want to go back to my lairs, but I don't want my lairs to be cleared by a vampire mature. But I have a hand full of vampires. So what do? I place aristocratic vampire down, and then I will use hide to protect it with bats to delay going back to my most important lair at 12. So even if that vampire matures for some reason, maybe hunters will lack movement, maybe hunters will be searching for me, maybe hunters will not expect the hide. And yeah, Seward moves on to new vampire. New vampire on ambush doesn't give any points with Fangs. Also, it is Seward, so dealing, for example, 2 damage isn't really that important. He can heal easily. So ambushing here and even hoping for 4 damage, he'll just shrug it off. Not that important. So if this vampire will die to a stake, so be it. I may even change my plans and don't go back to the lair then, because I will know that it is not that important to go back there. And here we go, night search. Yay, that's what I hoped about. Like one of the best case scenarios for new vampires, because they don't die that easily as reckless vampires. So this is a very dangerous night search for him. But he came prepared with escape route. So really good preparation. He went into Dracula land and he came prepared and safe, full of avoidance, as in many cases is beneficial to hunters. So he's thinking what he will do next. The tricky thing is that, uh, yeah, a hoax. Yeah, yeah. So we're talking a little bit. It is usually traditional start with Dracula is put hoax or some or bodyguards, for example, on the first location because sometimes you are lucky and hunters never get any scouting stuff. So maybe you mature it, and then you can put vampires behind. So if they mature, they will not clear uh, like any important thing. So I learned 31 and I put there a hoax because I see that hunters are quite far away. So I expect that when I move into 31, I will be safe. So I don't need to make some combat lair, some protection lair. I can build some lair that when it matures, it will be strong. Because I don't know what will happen. Maybe he expects me to or expects or waits for me to move into the Europe and will give me time to loop around and build some longer trail uh, of lairs because he discarded two heavenly holds and usually like you cannot move into 26 without risk of instantly losing the game to CG, but right now 26 is not that scary depending on the situation, but it isn't necessarily game over on the spot. So he decides to supply with Seward on the spot. I don't know yet if he plans on staking the vampire at night. Maybe not. Usually, uh, the new vampire is only 3 points. Letting it mature can be quite beneficial to hunters actually. 3 points for three lairs, for three hideouts not cleared even from encounters, saves a lot of time for hunters. So yeah, Mina moved to Munich right now, which is interesting move. Why Mina moved and Godalming didn't, but probably Godalming needs to search for items. Maybe horses. Let's see. Godalming doesn't do anything at night, which is a little bit telling that he doesn't have tickets to work on, especially that he isn't moving by tickets. So probably he has the yellow ones, maybe white ones, or the glue tickets, so called. What will do Seward? The thing is that if he expects, or maybe in protection to a lair strategy, he might actually want to clear the vampire. So if I come back here, the lair will be weaker. And that's another point of using lair strategies. It sometimes forces hunters to spend resources ahead of a time to prevent lairs. So if you threaten usage of a lair but don't use them, you are like that tiny bit ahead. Lots of thinking here. He probably considers how worthy it is for him to. Okay, so he's wax cylinders, and he got me. Actually, the day I used hide, which is funny, my whole trail for uh, everything I've built is constantly being revealed. So he all the time knows where I'm, where exactly where I am. So yeah, I just proceed with my plan. I know I have a lot of time, so I know I can loop around for lairs. Uh, and basically, why that's important. Uh, that's important thing in lairs. Why would they move toward hunters so they can just stay in supply and wait for me? Where I can force them to move in my direction. And now I'm starting to build a vampire city. There's new vampire in 12, and I've put their reckless vampire, so there are two vampires already. And it is a bit tricky. Seward, if he stayed here, he would block me from putting a third encounter in lair, because if hunter is staying on the lair and you enter it, you don't put additional encounters. So I would be only on two encounters. What a shame, right? As a Dracula, you having two vampires, not that bad. But if he stays, my hoax matures, so it is excellent. It is not bad at all. So it is basically like a win-win situation for me. If he moves away and clears the hoax, I will have he will be delayed for me, and so he will not be able to like re-enter the lair. And even if he would, there are two vampires, so entering there, so then I can move up on him again for a day fight, for example. Even, yeah, tricky situation. And okay, he starts moving forward. I think the moment I learned the new vampire, it can be pretty clear that the threat of the lairs is uh, imminent, I would say. Obviously, I can still uh, move away. Yeah. So yeah, hoax. It is a shame that it didn't mature, but that's that's the power of hoax. That it always does something useful, very useful, except when you are jumped on it. So then it does completely nothing. So this is like the counterbalance. But if it gets searched, hunter loses day action, cannot move, and all of that. If it doesn't, one of the most, if not the most powerful mature effect. And now I'm thinking maybe I will come back to Granada. Maybe I will need to have some protection stuff there. So I've put mob. Okay, I was forced to walk away for a few minutes. Let's see when I come back. That's the advantage of recordings. That okay, horses work. They started working. So it starts being a bit scary. Helsing, quite surprisingly for me, moved one sea space instead of landing, Maybe he doesn't want to use tickets. If he lands in Bordeaux, it is faster this way uh, than normal moving. And yeah, hunters are quite far. If you pay attention, like close attention to renewed vigors and possible movement events, it is in theory possible that hunters can 4v1 me. If Mina and Godalming have two charted carriages and one of them has or sense of emergency, and if Helsing has sense of emergency. 4v1 normally would be scary, but not when I'm on 3 vampires. Those 3 vampires probably would deal so much damage, maybe kill some hunters on entrance, that it wouldn't be the best. Oh, and look at that, charted carriage. I wonder why is he using charted carriage. So Mina had a horse but didn't use it. Godalming used horse on the other hand to move up, and now he's using charted carriage. He is in a hurry for some reason. Maybe it indicates some issue with tickets. Maybe one white one is still not found. Maybe he just wanted to make sure that he moves faster. He didn't want to risk horses. Maybe his horse economy is not good enough. But if he had really good, perfect or really good horse economy, he probably wouldn't use charted carriage here, which is telling something for Dracula. So fishing for details like that is very useful. Helsing obviously landing, and what Mina does. Unlucky one or oh, a two. Do you go onto the hidden location? Most probably right. But I have bats. I was debating, should I leave it for her for searching? Maybe she would get scared. Maybe she will do it in a day. But then I decided maybe I will push her back, and it will force some other hunter to move here again. So it would like waste multiple of actions, day actions. And Godalming got some really bright hit to the face, and I know that he has a stake, which is quite important information. I think 2 stakes were already discarded. Oh, and Seward is working on tickets. That's interesting. So yeah, I know that I think that 2 stakes were discarded, and I have 3 vampire lair in Cadiz. So following those stakes can be important. If one hunter enters and they have like 2 stakes, then it can be much easier to be cleared. And yeah, I push Mina. Onto lair. It is really cool to have such a lair, 2 encounters lair, deal some damage, maybe for test for warned, clear encounters, a lot of good stuff. And yeah, not probably. Yeah, she revealed a rifle, which is quite important. So I know where are 2 of the rifles, one of the discard, one on the Mina. On the other hand, I'm surprisingly close to rinsing through my encounter deck. So she put that rats back into the pool. So in my second row, my deck will be that little bit bigger and I will need to draw them again, which is a bit irritating. But it also shows power of the lair, how of lairs, how often you are in the middle of second week and your encounter deck is close to being depleted. So hunters have like a big decision. I'm running away, and they have like still a full trail to deal with, and even not like even more than full trail because two of the hideouts are lairs, and one is a big one. So you you can't really ignore that trail because that trail. Okay, creating Saragossa with a rumor token is, I think, a no-brainer, especially that you have two rumors, so you need to deal with that. But who does that, right? Mina is delayed; she cannot do this, uh, and two hunters would like to. The usual approach is okay: one or two hunters clear up the Spain, and other two hunters search, like prepare for Dracula landing. And I think this game kinda shows what is the high roll potential of empty Spain for Dracula. I was discovered very early, and my whole trail was like constantly discovered. And despite that, uh, hunters have a lot of job to do, and they're not in a comfortable position. Yeah, two stakes discarded, two heavenly hosts, two crucifixes, and oh, actually, wait, Helsinki reveals a horse. Okay, so that explains a lot about the charted carriage. Mina had a horse, and Godalming didn't have. Yeah, and he goes to Marcellus, which is a bit ahead of a time, but on the other hand, it is understandable because Mediterranean Sea is so tricky, and East is in a sense further away. Further away maybe is like a wrong expression, but like has more room and more distance possible to build from hunters. And my trail keeps like paying off. Godalming is delayed. He has a stake, but he didn't use it because uh, he expected aristocratic, which was risky. If it was a fighting vampire, that would be a mess. But he discarded one fighter vampire with behind the veil. He knows that one vampire is in Cadiz, so it is a decent guess that it wasn't a fighter vampire in 48. Especially that if he used stake in here, then Cadiz becomes even scarier to be dealt with. So a lot of thinking here on Helsinki, which is interesting. Didn't he sort his events yet? Or no, he does nothing with Helsinki. No tickets, no events trade, which is quite interesting and also gives a little bit of information. And Mina has to heal. Yeah. It seems maybe something might have been wrong with horses for some time. Maybe last white one, because he was a bit shy of using the horses. but they seem to be working well right now. Last three uses of horses were for two spaces. So I see Helsinki prepared in Mediterranean. So I see the other side open. I also know two heavenly hosts are in the discard pile. So CG for at least a few days isn't that deadly. Like for example, you can land in London and not lose the game immediately on the spot. Um, Maybe not even immediately, but in general on the spot. And here I decided to ambush Seward just to test for forewarned. I decided that damage is to damage. Like his night action may be not that important, especially that he probably will search in the night anyway. So it's not like that's the power of double encounter LAIR, right? I can expend one encounter, and he it doesn't save his night action. So I just was testing. He has 3 hunter events, so I wanted to see if he has forewarned, and he doesn't, which is quite a big tell. Big tell, not a tell, but quite a big information because hunters don't have that many events. I think they have 7 events in total, maybe 6. So about half of the events are not forewarned. Yeah, okay, so he has 7 events. Yeah, and my trail alone, I usually like playing the aggressive Dracula uh, to like meet with hunters and with my and personally give some troubles. But here show like this game shows obviously how big resource is and big mechanic is Dracula Trail. Hunters are constantly delayed, hunters are damaged, they don't even have time to be fully healed and have all of their tickets. And it's all done only through the uh, problematic trail. Double encounter LAIR helped me fix my encounters, dealt some damage to Mina, showed me her weapon, and Godalming without a horse was forced to move away from the location he might want to search. I mean, someone probably needs to deal with Cadiz, maybe not. And here I'm landing. I know that Godalming doesn't have horse, so it's not like he can easily 3v1 me. But with 11 health, if he 2v1s me or 3v1s me, it can be extremely dangerous. I might lose the game. So just for that little bit of safety, I put down wolves. Still, it is a dangerous position, but I'm quite well obfuscated. My move looks like usual Cagliari, might be tricky Ireland, or might be some weird go back to Spain, because I have lairs in Spain. If he just runs away blindly from Spain, okay, and he tests with Godalming. So he knows it can be a bit tricky. He obviously knows that I know that he doesn't have 2 heavenly hosts, so it is like indication that he maybe doesn't have CG, but maybe he has CG. Just because he drew it, or maybe it was some big bluff. I wonder if he rolled 2 here on a horse, would he go? Where would he go? To 8 or to 39? I wonder if he. Ah, right. He is moving. This is smart. Yeah. He's moving here with Helsing to meet with Mina and to Mina scan to check, so he will know exactly, am I in Germany or am I in Ireland? Combination of money trail and Mina scan will tell him that, which is irritating. I hoped that with that big lair and with my trail, I will have a little bit of breathing room to move around, maybe feed back to almost full health. But he gets back like some of his power. Seward is quickly healing up. Godalming is getting back his tickets, so he's not that immobile anymore. And now, this will be interesting if I remember correctly, because I think he will trade Helsing with Godalming. Oh no, Helsing is trading with Mina. Interesting. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, even heroic leap, but even 2v1. Mina has one of the items is rifle. I don't know what is second item. I know nothing about Helsing, so it is a bit dangerous, especially that I'm not full health. If I was 15 health, it would be easier. So I still want to go to the Harv because I realized, you know what? I will try to go to England. But if I move normally, if he does some rail onto the Harv, maybe he has forewarned, and so my fog will be useless. Maybe he doesn't. So I mean, what will happen? And all of that, quite tricky situation for me. I'm not as safe as I wanted to be. Stupid money trail, stupid minus gun. Oh, okay. Still, my big lair is slowly but surely going off trail, and if it will mature, it will be 7 points, and it will clear the sea spaces, so it will be cool. So yeah, he decides this is the big decision point, what to do with the lair as hunters. Do you try to clear it or do you ignore it? If he knew that these are free vampires, the best course of action would be ignore it, hope to have vampire lair, and don't waste resources. Dracula is on land, maybe get to Dracula and put pressure on him. But there's the second thing. What if this lair is new vampire, desecrated soil, and let's say bodyguards? Then suddenly you're giving away three quite important mature effects for basically nothing. I think maybe that the best play here he has wax cylinders is to just with Seward use wax cylinders, know what is in there, and to know do you want to ignore it or not. But yeah, since not many people, I mean, we don't see that many lair strategies, it is hard to come on spot with tools how to deal with them. So here he will have 1 day since he committed. He clearly wants to go and clear the lair. He has 1 day to deal with it. Oh, and he got ticket on Seward, which is interesting. He didn't heal. Does he expect that Godalming alone will be enough to clear it? Does he think that Seward will not need the 2 health. If these are 3 vampires, then every bit of health is important. And there was some trade with Godalming, which is important. Godalming got traded an event. Helsing had 2 events, so he traded at least 1 event to Godalming. So is it a combat event? Maybe it is forewarned. If it's a if he expects fog there, maybe he wants to be safe from the fog or bats. Yeah. Here, 2 things. One of the thing, yes, I don't want to lair anything because I don't want my deck to reshuffle yet. I want to have all of my 3 fighter vampires to get back as fast as possible because they're too strong encounters. And yeah, Godalming moves to clear. And Vampire City, Vampire Capital City, which is very deadly and very dangerous because 1 vampire can deal up to 4 damage to a hunter if combat goes Dracula way. So any hunter can die. It has to be quite unlucky, but any hunter, even Godalming with full health, can die when entering Vampire Capital City. Yeah, quite unfortunate. I wasn't able to mesmerize to keep him in the combat, so just 2 damage. Okay, but any damage matters because Godalming doesn't have 3 stakes. And more, what is important, Godalming doesn't have any combat event, which is interesting. What he was traded away. So he doesn't have any combat events. The more damage I deal to him, so even if he has a stake, because he has one non-combat event, 1 non-combat item, and I know that he has a stake somewhere, right? He will not be able to stake vampires, to stake 1 vampire and then fight with 2 at the night. So any point of damage matters here, because the more damage the hunter, the more protected vampires are from the stakes. So here vampires are like protecting each other. Oh, and he expected mesmerize. I didn't have mesmerize, so that's the danger. That's the danger of not escaping turn 1. He just keeps fighting, which will be only more dangerous for him, and I get points. So if he ignored the lair, I would get 7 points. Now, with each reckless vampire bite, Fang, my point value increases on this lair, which is quite crazy. Yeah, so this is a risky. He may kill me with knife here, so second Fangs is a bit risky, or he may escape, and he dodges, which is important though, which is important for me anyway, because now I know that his knife doesn't kill me. So it is actually extremely difficult for him to kill my vampire. So I decided, you know what? I'm not afraid of almost anything. Like if he knives, I will claw him for damage. And look at that, I was able to trade the damage. And in this specific situation, it was beneficial for me because there's one. He still is in combat, and he still has 1 more vampire to fight with, and he's losing health So yeah, Vampire Capital City. He tried to clear the lair. He clearly needed to kill at least one vampire in a fight. So as long as I was able to be a bit like on the defense or expecting where I can die and where I cannot, I was doing fine. And he dodges here, which is like good guess. And this is like quite a decision. Right now in combat, I also wonder how much do I want to like sacrifice the vampire just to kill Godalming, and how much I want to keep even one health vampire survive, because then double stake doesn't solve the issue, or staking one, fighting this one 1v1 and then fighting new vampire. Like, what are like risks and possibilities? If I had strength, I would play it. Oh, and I have, so I played. And he keeps not escaping. I think it might be a correct call here. I'm not sure, because he knows that fangs are gone. So I either play strength or claws. So it was basically like the guess: do I think he may be escaping and claw his back, especially that he didn't show the pistol. It was a surprise. Maybe it is the pistol from Seward. Okay, and then we just break the fight. So one fight, vampire dealt 2 damage. Second fight, vampire dealt 6 damage. And yeah, vampire fight with 1 health. What do you do? I know his items, so yes, it will happen also if I kill you here. Yeah, killing hunters is always awesome. So then, third fight, uh, and he can defend against anything, in a sense that he has anti-claw item and anti-fangs item. So it is tricky, in the sense that it happens sometimes that you have that at the edge of life hunter, and you try to kill him and you never can, because he just keeps getting your attacks correctly, and sometimes even your vampire can die. It can happen. So it is very tricky. He spends here a lot of time to think what to do. I'm just thinking one thing: if he has great strength, he can escape and survive. It is a big deal, but I don't want him to be able to escape freely. And even if he knives right now, like, for me, fanging is the best, because not only it is about damage but also influence. So maybe he plays like a few steps ahead, that I will not do the best move because dodge or knife counters it well. So I decided, you know what, I will fang and we will see what happens. And look at that. And he has great strength. He was able to survive, but he decided that surviving is not enough. and I got another influence point. For a second there, I was wondering maybe he has bullets. Maybe Seward got stake from Godalming, but no. Doesn't have bullets. The combat continues. So what will happen next? We have some little bit of banter. Fangs of Fire is one of the players that like to talk during the game, and me too. So we exchange sometimes exchange some, you know, exchange some words along with blows. I don't have really that much option. Plotting or strength. Maybe he will dodge, maybe he will knife. But I realized, you know what, I have 2 strengths. I think I picked strength here. Yes, I just expected him to stand and fight. I just thought that this is in Fang's character. And did he dodge? No, he punched. Oh, so I'm glad I didn't plot. So that's the danger. Like I think this clearly shows that, you know, that's trying to clear 3 vampires lair isn't really that good idea unless you're perfectly unless you have like perfectly prepared for that. And is it even worth? 7 points is a lot, especially that I don't clear any encounters. Sometimes there's like this difficult choice. Okay, I mature a vampire, but my next encounters are being cleared. So my power, in a sense, Dracula's power, Dracula's resource of the trail is being reduced. But here, I don't lose that much. I just lose 1 wolf. And he decided that, okay, my 7-point trail got improved to 13 points trail. If he doesn't have Vampire Lair, he loses the game. But even with Vampire Lair, I mean, I will be only on 2 influence, so I can just. I mean, he has that guy, the C damage guy. How was he called? The ally. So yeah, it wouldn't be that easy for me to juke around in the sea for eternity because I don't have eternity. There is entire week for me to go, but yeah, I can go to England. I can wait out there, see for how long I will be safe, and then outwait in the sea to just land and win. So I think basically after Godalming death, he is cornered to stopping this lair, which is, I think, next to impossible, to be honest. He has 2 damage reckless vampires, so some crazy combat with them, and then stake the new vampire. Maybe. I don't know. But he had only 1 combat event here, which was lucky find. So let's see what he got. Another series of fights. So not often you see 6 fights within the span of 2 actions. I was considering here that maybe he has bullets. If so, I don't want to expand my healing encounter too early. And if new vampire gets shot with the bullets, it is the best one to be shot at full health because she still doesn't die. And lucky me. Can I call it lucky? I think I can call it lucky in the sense that yeah, my vampire got shot with bullets and survived. And yeah, now it becomes a bit tricky. I know he doesn't have a stake, so clearing two vampires with 1 health and one vampire with 3 health doesn't seem that extreme any longer. Now, I have a lot of stuff here, a lot of really good encounters. I am able to heal with Fangs, I'm able to stop damage with Strength, but I decided to out-trick him. Yeah, I expected him to, play around Strength and Mesmerize, so maybe Punch. I mean, maybe not Punch, but maybe Dodge, maybe Garlic. And it worked out. Now, my Vampire is only on 1 health, but with Plotting. Plotting is such a strong 1v1 card. Because I can damage him through dodge. When I Fang and he dodges, I can still heal and damage. If I Mesmerize, Punch doesn't stop that. So really, really strong stuff. And obviously I got the card that I want, which is Second Strength. So I know 2 of his items, Rifle and Garlic. And I want and I wonder what he will show next, if he will show it. I just play Strength. Yeah, okay, Punch. This is good. I don't need to waste Plotting on a Punch, but Fangs would be even better, maybe. Will it be? Yeah, maybe. So it becomes a little bit tricky here. Will he? But I decided I see that I didn't have any thinking about trickiness. I have Second Strength, I play Strength. I just want to deal as much damage as possible. I have still 1 vampire with 3 health against him, which makes sense, and I have another vampire which is not ambushing, so will survive for sure. So yeah, I just want her to survive, and I want her to mess him up. And yeah, I used Plotting here, which is funny because Plotting is in a way, if he uses Punch, I can stop the punch with my Plotting, and then I can Fang on the last turn if he dodges. If he punched here and I Mesmerized, I would have used Plotting and then I wouldn't be able to Fang through his dodge. So now I see that Garlic was used, and I know that he has hidden 1 more combat item. The longer he doesn't use it, the longer it seems suspicious as Heavenly Host, but sometimes it can be second Garlic, so it can be tricky. But then I thought to myself, I guess, that dodge doesn't protect him. He used his Garlic, so I will most probably Fang, because if it works, great, I will be on higher health. If it doesn't work, at least I will know his third item that is anti-Fangs item, and the information will protect my other vampires. But yeah, I didn't have time to mesmerize him, so it is net 0 damage, but I don't think it matters here that much. So I got interrupted previously, I had to stop recording, but that's not an issue. We're going back to where we stopped, and we actually have been here already. 1 health hunter against reckless. Ding ding ding. The situation is that different. These reckless can actually die if I guess incorrectly and get hit by rifle or fang into garlic, and this will be huge relief for Seward. Will he be able to clear the lair? I mean, quite a tall order for 1 health, quite like inequipped properly for that hunter to kill 2 vampires at night, even if they both have 1 health. So I think by the length of the video you can guess that Fangs of Fire, despite his courage and brave approach, he will not succeed, and the doom will fall down on this world. So while watching the glorious and very pleasant torture of Seward, we can talk like what to do in a situation like that, right? What should you do as hunters when you see 3 encounters there? Because okay, 3 vampires is extremely dangerous, but also extremely rare situation. It's not like the approach shouldn't be that, oh, I see 3 encounters, I never walk in there, because it can be 1 vampire with multiple like even desecrated soil, bodyguards, and few other stuff, hoaxes that when mature and they have a good effect. So do you just want to leave that? Maybe. Depends how well equipped you are. I think that the biggest thing, like the big thing, is that hunters lost escape route week 1. I think a lot of hunters look down a little bit on escape route, and even that, okay, it doesn't progress me toward the win, right? It just prolongs the game. But I like this event a lot because it helps you in the most dire situations where, okay, maybe it doesn't give you a win, but it helps you not to lose the game. You can play more recklessly, or like even enter such lairs like here, and you can escape from 1 reckless fight and be fine, and you are in a way guaranteed to survive when you're scouting. So this is a big deal. But if you can search and try to stop the lair, and because for Dracula it is a big win to be able to mature rumored vampire in the middle of the game. It very rarely happens, let's be honest. Usually you mature rumored vampire in most cases when it is one of like first or second encounter, and just hunters don't get the scouting events, right? And especially in a situation like this, when the useless trail, let's say, gets cleared, sea spaces are removed, which actually may open up a map a little bit for me, and I don't lose that much. On the other hand, as hunters, maybe letting this lair mature is a way to go. You don't know. I mean, if they ignore the lair, actually building 3 fighter vampires is quite a big commitment. Fighter vampires are one of the best encounters. So you as Dracula, me as Dracula, spent a lot of effort into building that. Is 7 points enough? as a price. I think it is. It is really good price, but sometimes as hunters you need to cut your losses. If you had like Godalming or Seward with escape route and two stakes, maybe it would be a good idea uh, to try to clear this. But otherwise, oh, and he had vampire there. So yeah, in the end, I think hunters had enough tools to deal with this lair. You just do walk cylinders, you see there are three vampires. No, this is not a good idea to walk in here. So just let it mature, chase after Dracula, and use vampire lairs. 5 points for such a humongous lair. I think it is a deal that hunters have to take. It isn't a deal that hunters like. 5 points, as I said, 5 points in the middle of the week, especially that my encounter deck is getting reshuffled. So I am getting those fighter vampires back. So it is still a win for Dracula. But it is bigger win when hunters try to stop it. Because even if hunters, like, imagine how much it costs hunters to stop three vampires, especially that they had only one stake there. How much health, fighting, events, uh, reckless fang attacks on ambush for points. So yeah, it is. It is very rare to be able to build a lair like that. It is very low odds, so it's not like, especially that behind the veil discarded one of the vampires, right? So I had to basically have 3 out of 4 vampires. Uh, but do you want to and do hunters want to leave any lair with 3 encounters? A bit risky too, right? So I don't know myself yet. If you don't have waxed cylinders, what exactly to do, especially in this situation where uh, maturing vampires here, like, don't even relieve any pressure for hunters because they're only C spaces. So yeah, yeah. Well, I hope you like the game. I hope you like Vampire Capital City. I did like it a lot. Not sure how Fangs of Fire. I recommend you trying sometimes. Uh, you know, building building some nasty lairs like that because it can be a lot of fun to be that type of architect Dracula when you build a city, build a trail, and your power as Dracula doesn't come from sneakiness or from combat, but from that nasty, nasty damaging, delaying, revealing uh, trail. Yeah. So thanks for the game and have a good night.